The mayor and council make decisions based upon the codes and the ordinances that relate to development. Is it their responsibility to know and understand such ordinances? If not, why not?
Well, a personal view, yes, they need to know. They need to have a working knowledge, maybe not every detail, their staff to do that, but if you're ready to review something and or possibly approve it, I think you have a direct responsibility to have done the homework to really understand what basis the decision is being made on, what the impact is going to be, and do the best that you can, knowing from the surveys and other sources from people, their influence on that decision as well. So there's nothing like knowledge. I personally do not make decisions without having knowledge, and I won't change. I need to know.
Thank you. The short answer is no. The longer answer is that it's an impossibility. If you've seen that zoning book or the code book, there's no way you're going to know every single code and be able to pull it out, because we're not planners, we're not zoners. Council's responsibility is to set policy, and we set policy in accordance with the general plan. We have a staff for that. When the materials are handed out, we have a one-on-one with the town manager. If we have further questions, there's a town council report if there's something we don't understand. But we get fully vetted. Make no mistake about it, we get fully vetted. So should we be required to know all the codes? Absolutely not. I'm a dental practice. I own a dental practice. There's over 4,000 insurances, and there's over literally 3,000 procedures. Do I know the codes for all the procedures? I don't. But I surround myself with individuals who do know the codes, and I get advice from them, and then I interpret how that applies to the general plan.
Agreed. Surround yourself with experts and ask them questions. Before we get to the council meeting, Joe and I are liaisons. He to P&Z, I'm to CDRB, and we go to each other's meetings. So we get from the neighborhood meeting through the board meetings, through the agenda topic meetings with the town manager and planning manager before the council meeting. We get the packet, we study the packet, and that's all aimed specifically at the one thing that we're deciding on at that time. To know, as the mayor suggested, there are so many codes and ordinances that you have to be a quick study on whatever you're deciding at that time and go for that code. And if you have any questions about it, ask about it, and that's what we do.
Each of us works very hard, and we are well prepared before we come to a council meeting, but I'll just speak for myself. I fully avail myself of the talents of our planning department. I go to many of the neighborhood meetings. I listen to residents. I respond to residents' concerns when they write to me about a certain parcel or a plan that's going through. But before I sit down at the council chair, I'm thoroughly knowledgeable about that topic. If I'm not, then I'm not going to be prepared to make a decision, and a decision doesn't always necessarily have to be made unless you have all the facts. How I make decisions, I make database decisions. I seek the advice of experts. We have great employees at the town of Laurel Valley, and that's why when we hire somebody, we want to hire the best, not a mediocre person. We want to hire the best, because our decision-making process many times depends largely on the support that they give us and the knowledge we give us. Now, do we rely on that solely? No. We have to go out and get other opinions as well. Thank you.
You do have to have a working knowledge of the codes and what they mean. There's no question about that. But the codes specifically, when something comes before council, and we've seen it at the CDRB, we've already seen it at the neighborhood meeting, we read the reports. By the time it comes to council, what you're really looking for is, does it meet the criteria that allows this project to go forward? And the codes spell out what that criteria is. It has to have setbacks that have this. It has to have frontages that have this. It has to have roof lines that are this high, et cetera, et cetera. That is what staff does, is put that list together, list those things in the council communique, which is part of our summary, and your responsibility as a council member is to verify that they have met that criteria. And if they haven't, honestly, the code is the code, and your responsibility is to kick it back, tell them to resolve it. Thank you.
I believe everyone needs to do their homework before the meeting and at least have an appreciation of the codes that they're dealing with that particular meeting. Because the information given to council is not always very accurate. For instance, how many of you think an RV is a car? Well, that's what staff told the council, and they approved something based on that. The code didn't say that at all. So that's why it's important that you have an appreciation of what's in that code and not totally rely on outside sources.